What's going on, guys? Andrew of New Bark Gaming here, back today with some more Octopath Traveler. After those first 4 episodes, give everybody a good introduction into the combat system, how things roll, etc, etc, and having spoken with some people who watch LPs like this more frequently since I am doing a lot of recording in advance, so I won't be able to catch all of your feedback right away. I think I'm going to start cutting out some of the random encounters, particularly those of, like, enemies that we've seen before. If we're doing it with a new enemy, I'll probably show it on screen, or, like, significant boss fights, or if we've just picked up a new party member, etc, etc, but just to pick up the pace of this game a little bit. I mean, we just spent almost all of last episode just going through random encounters, so we can consider that our sort of training montage episode, and then from here on out we'll try and keep that set to the side, much like many animes do. They'll show the training one episode really heavy, then from there they sort of cut it down a good bit.
Hello there.
The Royal Palace is just a ways north from here. Alrighty, good to know, good to know. Moving right ahead here. Ooh, you have green text, therefore you must be interesting. Yes. I think I know who stole that tome. Perhaps I should just have a little chat with him, just to make sure we all understand one another. His name is Cyrus, and he is a scholar. This is Atlasdom, nestled in the fertile plains of the Flatlands. It is home to the Royal Academy, where many a scholar studies night and day to bring the light of knowledge to the royal family, and all the realm. He passes his days in the halls of the great library, devouring tomes to his heart's content. It is in that library where he learns of a grievous theft. Certain that one of his fellow scholars is the culprit, Cyrus sets out alone to confront the man. In his shadowy subterranean study, he will need wise allies on the path he has chosen. Well, it seems we may be them. Find comrades to add them to your party, seek out your fellow travelers, they will ask for your help. Already solid. Yes. Let's hear the beginning of his tale, shall we?
And so it was that Atlasdam was founded some 2 centuries ago. Indeed, our fair city-state is among the longest standing on the continent of Austera. But there was another city-state with a history as long and proud as our own that came to a tragic ruin only 8 short years ago. Now, who can tell me its name? How about you, Therese?
I think it was...
Now, no need to get all flustered. There's no shame in not knowing an answer, so long as you have a desire to learn. The answer is in your textbook. Go on now, look it up.
Yes, Professor. Let's see. I believe it was Hornburg?
That is correct.
That sounded really condescending, just gonna say.
Hornburg was ruled over by a royal family, said to be descended from priests of an ancient and long-forgotten religion. On the other hand, our fair Atlasdam was founded by one of the original clans that inhabited the Flatlands. Who can tell me how many clans lived in the Flatlands at the time? Your Highness?
The histories have it that 8 clans did live in the Flatlands in those days.
Correct you are, Your Highness. It was a time of great strife here in the Flatlands as the 8 clans waged a long and bitter war. Change would come when the armies of Grandport invaded these lands some 2 centuries ago. At the time, the rulers of Grandport sought to exert their influence over territories inland. Ironically, this compelled the warring tribes to put aside their differences and unite against their common foe.
So is he just ignoring the person that just walked into the room, or is he so caught up in his monologue he didn't really notice it happened, or is this like a teacher observation type of thing? Never mind.
Oh, But look at the time. We'll pick up where we left off next time. Don't forget to read chapters 3 and 4 before our next lecture.
So we got dinged for going over the class time limit.
And be prepared to answer questions on any of the material within.
Honestly, sounds like he's a professor shouting as his students are leaving, yet the animation doesn't show that. Maybe it was because they didn't want to bother with syncing that up. Or it's just the way the voice actor went for it, I guess.
Yes, Professor.
Thank you for another most stimulating lecture, Professor Albright.
Albright. Okay, guess we know his last name now.
Hello?
Ah, Professor Albright, Mercedes from the Royal Library came by with a message for you. Seems today's your lucky day. You've been granted permission to enter the special archives.
Splendid!
Finally, I can begin my research. The library is just outside the palace. I'd best make haste. Alright, let's see if, the other journey that we started, there's a chest that's, right at the beginning if you're willing to explore a little bit here. No such luck. Anyway, I guess we're making our way towards the library. Thankfully, we do have that little green star to indicate where we're going. I think they said it's right outside. Oh, okay, this triggers an event.
Oh.
Professor?
Professor Albright.
Oh, thank heavens you're still here. I thought I had missed you.
Your Highness.
What can I do for you, Your Highness?
The truth of the matter is,
If you can spare the time, I had a question about something we learned today.
But of course!
Your Highness, it would be my pleasure to answer anything.
Mm-hmm.
After all, my role as your tutor is as important to me as any of my research. Unfortunately, I cannot spare much time. Is the question a quick one?
indeed.
Yes, Professor. It will not take long. I was just wondering about the ancient religion of Hornburg. Pray tell, what did they worship?
Very astute of you.
Your Highness. However, I fear that nearly all the texts detailing the nature of the religion were burned and lost when Hornburg fell. I see. A shame that.
The truth is...
I do, however, have a theory of my own. I believe that the royal family of Hornburg were guardians of an ancient power. Mind you, that is not idle speculation. My theory is based on the fact that...
Oh.
Poor Therese, just sitting there in the corner. Or is it Therese? I feel like it's Therese. Let us continue the discussion another time. I apologize for keeping you, Professor.
With pleasure.
No need for apologies. It would be my pleasure, Your Highness. That such questions occur to you is a sign of sharp and curious mind.
I thank you.
Your lectures on the history of the realm are most fascinating to me. For if I do not learn of our past, how can I hope to lead my people to a bright future?
Indeed.
A most admirable philosophy, Your Highness. The people of this land are truly fortunate to be led by one of such wisdom and kindness, as I am truly fortunate to have the opportunity to serve in some small way. You are far too kind, Professor Albright. I'm proud to be your student.
Ah,
Oh dear, I'm running late.
good day.
Pray do not forget your assignment, Your Highness.
Farewell.
Of course, Professor. Yeah, I can definitely see how Therese could be interpreting this a very different kind of way than just a student asking a professor a question, as long-winded as that seemed to be and complimentary and such.
Therese.
Oh, hello there, Therese. Good old Obi-Wan. Hello there.
Yes? Do you have a question?
Did you have a question for me as well?
No.
I mean, no. Good day, Professor. Aw, she's embarrassed. So moving right along here, we do have a little bit more context over the characters that Cyrus is dealing with. It seems like he's quite the ladies' man amongst his students, which is a little bit odd. That's the impression we're getting at least, and that's also what his backstory read from before. Palace Gates lies just to the north. To the east you'll find the Royal Academy, where the realm's most promising thinkers receive their education. Alright, so I'm guessing we're going for the green asterisk. It's going to be our objective, it seems, in most cases. So let's open the doors here.
It's me, Cyrus.
Good day, Mercedes. Cyrus Albright here to browse the special archives. Oh, Professor Albright, you're looking quite eager today. When I heard that an original copy of The Church of the Flame, A Complete History, had been donated to our archives, I simply had to be the first to see it. Now here's my question, does that book title maybe change in this dialogue depending on which character you introduce to him? Like, is it maybe something generic for the rest of the characters and just has to do with the Church of the Flame in the case that we started with Ophelia? Or is it just generally there to keep the lore of the area consistent? It would be kinda neat if they had a change detail, but we'll see.
I see.
You're more on top of our collection than I am. Just sign here.
With
Sign your
pleasure.
soul away. With pleasure. The truth behind the library is, you're signing your soul away and all value every time you do it. Hence why you have that card. They ID you, they tag you. Kidding, of course, libraries are great places. Heh. Something amiss?
Actually,
For someone known as the most brilliant mind in the Royal Academy. When you talk about books, you are as giddy as a schoolboy. When you put it that way, yes, much as a child is fascinated by a new toy. I am titillated by the prospect of acquiring new knowledge. Surprised I actually pronounced that correctly.
I see.
Right, the expression on your face says it all. Anyway, everything seems to be in order. Enjoy your quest with knowledge, Professor.
Many thanks.
My dear, I most certainly will. And here we are in the deep, dark, secret book room.
We here.
How odd, the tome is nowhere to be found. If anyone's watched the show The Magicians, there's one character that ends up trapped in like this all-powerful library type of area that has like a locked-away room with all kinds of dark secrets, almost sort of like the restricted section in the Harry Potter books, probably a more well-known pop culture reference. This sort of reminds me of those areas. I mean, secret areas like that with hidden knowledge too dangerous for the public are commonplace in stories, so definitely not a reference or anything, but just wanted to point that out. How odd, the tome is nowhere to be found. Did someone return it to the wrong shelf? Not here either.
An interesting dilemma.
These archives are strictly guarded and curated. Wherever could it have gone? Perhaps one of your colleagues stole it?
Professor Albright.
The headmaster would see you at once. Of all the times to... Oh well, might I ask of you a favor? What might that be?
The truth is...
The tome I mentioned before seems to have gone missing. Could you locate it for me?
I see.
Missing, huh? I'll begin looking at once, Professor.
Many thanks.
My dear. And away we go.
Cyrus Albright, by your request, sir.
Knock, 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 sir. Knock, 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 sir. Knock, 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 sir.
Do enter.
Having that dramatic stare at the wall as somebody
My
enters your door.
apologies for summoning you on such short notice.
How might I be of assistance, Headmaster?
That treatise on arcane studies you published. What in the gods' names were you thinking?
Sir? I do believe I made my hypothesis perfectly clear.
I'm not talking about your hypothesis. You went out of your way to cite one of the texts in our special archives.
Ooh, somebody's getting in trouble.
In those tomes is the Royal Academy's greatest treasure.
You gonna get expelled or written up for detention?
It is not to be divulged to the public at your whim. Laying it bare in one of your silly papers is out of the question.
Someone's also a little protective of information. Screamed shady government to me.
Of those tomes, Headmaster. It is for that very reason I would share the knowledge with my peers.
You are to share nothing. That wisdom is for the Academy and the Academy alone.
Strikes combat pose, ready to punch enemy.
But that goes against everything.
Enough, Cyrus!
Even my best argument is sure to fall on deaf ears.
I wonder how most school arguments go with student versus teacher, teacher versus principal. Obviously not knocking people, there's clearly nice principals out here, but still.
The Headmaster sees knowledge as a medal or precious stone. Something to be appreciated by its rightful owner alone. Knowledge is power, and power is to be hoarded. An unfortunate attitude, indeed.
Couldn't agree more, brother.
My sincere apologies, Headmaster. It won't happen again. Is there anything else you need of me?
And this concludes the origin story of why Steve Jobs went on to create the at-home computer and the internet spawned to bring knowledge to the world. Secretly, Cyrus from Octopath Traveler.
That is all. You may go. Wait, there was one last thing.
Also, this guy's super self-centered. He's got a portrait of himself, clearly like hand-painted in the room. Not only was that costly, but it's yourself, dude. Like, could you get more egotistical?
Sir?
I heard the Special Archives will be closing early today. If you have research to do there, I would do so quickly.
Cue Admiral Akbar. It's a trap.
Good gods. It's as if he enjoys watching me suffer.
And he probably does.
Thank you for your concern, Headmaster. In that case, I'll be on my way.
Enter.
Excuse me.
Don't know if I like where this is going. Thought we were going to keep the dark screen there.
What's the matter?
What is it, Therese? It's about Professor Albright, sir. That's a little concerning, particularly given the nature of what this professor's somewhat odd relationships with his students seem to be. Although this could be one-sided, hard to tell.
Can I help you?
Ah, Professor Albright.
A moment of your time.
Did you have any luck finding the tome?
My apologies.
I'm afraid not. You've only been gone about 5 minutes.
Say it is not so.
Well, this is most unfortunate. One might conclude that it had been stolen. Hence I'll go listen to my Weezer's song, Say It Ain't So.
Actually,
Professor, taking books out from these archives is strictly forbidden. As you know, the keys to the vaults are entrusted to only a select few. Quite honestly, it would be easier to steal the crown off the king's head.
Aho!
An impregnable vault? A disappearing tome. It would seem we have quite the mystery on our hands. And the mysteries of the world are meant to be solved, after all. Or so the scholar in me says. Would you not agree? If it had been stolen, I would say it's a job for the city guard. But I can see you won't let it go until you've cracked the case, as it were.
Indeed.
You could say that indeed. A habit I just can't seem to break. Once a puzzle is placed before me, I simply cannot rest until I've worked out a solution.
I see.
Well, far be it from me to stand in your way. Must be tough being a genius.
Leave it to me.
I'll not deny it. Worry not, the tome will be back on the shelf before you can bat an eyelash.
Take care.
Right, thanks. Best of luck in your search.
Time to do some research.
And the game is afoot. This guy gets super excited about this mystery type of stuff. Now, where to begin my search? Suppose I should inquire with Mercedes as to where the keys to the library are stored. The guard at the front door would know who has been frequenting the library lately, as might my fellow scholars. Then mayhap I should pay the headmaster a visit as well. Alright, giving us a little path action tutorial again. Scrutinize. I guess that's investigate, more or less. Let's see now. Of course I've got a key to the archives, and no, I wasn't sleeping, I was resting my eyes is all. But even if I was sleeping, what would it matter? What kind of fool would bother stealing such a worthless tome anyway? Pardon my yawning. Okay. Most intriguing. Okay, so we got a couple more people we gotta scrutinize. I guess they're back in the library. Why did we leave there in the first place if we intended to talk to Mercedes is my question. Alright, see what you have to say. Let's see now. Testimony. The key to the archives? Oh, I haven't got that, but I'm not surprised someone stole a tome considering what they're worth. I have gambling debts myself, so I understand the temptation. Most intriguing? So, that guy's definitely got probable cause. The guard seemed totally uninterested, though he also seemed undedicated, so... see what you have to say. Only Headmaster Yvonne and the guard stationed outside should have a key to the library archives. I like how we don't even seem to be considering the librarian as a potential suspect, given her testimony and everything. There's no, like, defensive side to it, so I would assume his scrutinizing, quote-unquote, was not very aggressive or in a very accusatory, or accusational, that's the word I'm looking for, manner. Okay, let's head up this way. Looks like we have one more person to go interrogate. Load screens! Alright. Not up here, seems to be upstairs then. These classrooms are rather small. You have what, 12 desks in there? I don't know. Wish all classes were that size. I feel it would help the educational systems a lot if people were able to get that kind of one-on-one attention with a professor in order to get, focus on them as a student. See what you have to say. This guy doesn't like us very much. I feel like we're just going to, skip him as a candidate. Let's see now. Testimony. You know full well I have a key to the special archives, and that I would never be so foolish as to let it fall into the wrong hands. In any event, I have had no reason to pursue those terms in quite some time. Or peruse those terms in quite some time. Could not speak there for a second. Disappointingly, it sounds like the headmaster would not be the suspect we're looking for, as much as I didn't like how cruel he was to us before. That should be all the information I need to solve the case. Possesses keys to the archives. Well, the librarian does, as does Russell.
Not exactly.
Okay, guess I had that wrong.
But of course.
Oh yeah, because there are only 2 keys to the archives, one belonging to the headmaster and one to the guardsman. I guess I'll just let the information from the librarian go in one ear and out the other. Whose key was used to unlock the archives? Gonna go with the guards. The headmaster's key is safely locked away in his office. Furthermore, he hasn't visited the archives today. On the other hand, the guard has been acting suspiciously of late, even sleeping while on active duty.
Oh.
It would be all too easy a task to lift the key off his person. So it is possible the guard is our man. but no probable cause.
No.
The culprit must be someone who understands the true value of the tome. The guard seemed unintrigued by it, so, which is to say, one of my colleagues. And most likely, the one who has accrued a frightful gambling debt.
Which means that...
Put it all together, and our villain is... Russell.
Yes.
True. Indubitably, that shifty scholar Russell. Yes, I dare say my logic is foolproof. Little arrogant there, my friend.
Shall we
But okay.
begin?
Now all that remains is to find our man and make him confess to the crime. Word has it he's been doing his research underground these days. I like how that magically opens, just like right on cue for us to pursue it. I don't believe that path was there before. It's time I did some field work of my own. Even though we didn't go there, most of the time if an RPG shows you like a new open path, wasn't necessarily open for you before. So I have taken it upon myself to investigate the suspicious scholar. Interested in coming along, are you? Seems you have quite the curious streak yourself. But of course, mysteries exist only to be solved, and after all, it is of utmost importance to remember that. Ah, but there I go again. Don't let me talk your ear off, but I will be glad for your help. Let's get right to business then. No doubt we'll find Russell in his laboratory now down below. Cool. And hey, so we have a 3-person party now. Solid and very noteworthy. So with all that being said, I think we're actually going to go to a save point. We're about 27-ish minutes into this episode. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If not, you know the deal. Constructive criticism is always welcome. And I'll catch you guys next time on more Octopath Traveler.